Oh, hello there. How did you get inside of my house? Nevertheless, it is always good to have company close by. And seeming as I have now made you my company, may I persuade you to sit down? Nay, gather around as I tell you a tale as old as time. And this time specifically is 1987, where a 57-year-old genius, a music mastermind of sorts, came up with brilliant pieces, brilliant notes worded into a rhythmic masterpiece for a little unknown musical known as Into the Woods. Now, who is this 57-year-old mastermind savant, this wizard? Well, let us flip the page and find out. This artist was one Stephen Sondheim, a man born in New York City on March 22nd, 1930, and died November 26, 2021, in Roxbury, Connecticut. He is known for his many great musicals such as West Side Story, Sweeney Todd, and The Subject at Hand, Into the Woods. Now, within all these musicals are crafted, specific, beautiful motifs that have caused the viewers of these musicals to question, are these just musicals? Or are they secretly operas in disguise due to how beautifully he strings these notes together? Now, a question one person might have is, what is a motif? I shall explain, with the definition, of course. Now, let's see here. A motif is a short succession of notes producing a single impression, a brief melodic or rhythmic formula out of which longer passages are developed. Now, an example of this is the danger motif from West Side Story, another one of Sondheim's classics. The danger motif is used whenever there is hate and peril within a scene. It is inverted, twisted, and used all over the entire musical, and it reminds the audience when there is suspense or tension. On the opposite end of this is the Maria motif, aka the love motif. This is first heard in, of course, Maria, and it is used all throughout the musical as well to show love, passion that Tony has for Maria, their unbreaking bond. And also, shockingly, fun fact, the danger motif is just the love motif twisted. Isn't that a fun little fact I learned today watching YouTube? Now, to hear what both of these sound like, here is the danger motif. And now to hear what the other one sounds like, here is the love motif. I played that myself on an old piano. Well, these are just two examples, though. Can I give you more? Yes. Yes, I can. It all boils down, finally, to the subject at hand, which is Into the Woods, covered with these motifs left to right. Let us turn the page to see what kind of motifs these are. There are three major motifs in all of the music in Into the Woods. These motifs are the wish motif. Next is the bean motif. And finally, the fanfare motif. Now, all of these motifs, you might be wondering, oh, what's the matter with them? You aren't wondering that, I'm just bringing light. But each of these holds their own backbone within the music of the show. Each appearance in all the music within the musical is very important, because without them, there is no story. There are also smaller motifs, such as the melody of Into the Woods, the main staple rhythm, which mostly makes appearances whenever Little Red is skipping. I forgot to record the piano, so I shall sing it. You get the point. Each motif plays an integral part to tell the story for good reason, as each represents a theme that everyone will learn by the end of the show. The most important is the wish motif, which makes up 90% of the music and story, and it hits you right off the bat with the simple prologue. After, once upon a time, it goes... Now, what is the story behind I Wish? Well, just a single interval means so much, such as everyone's desires and dreams, and is heard within many songs. Everybody has wishes, and they'll do whatever to get them. So it appears throughout the entire show as the most integral part of the music. It begins the show and ends the show, just proving how important it is to have wishes for the story to go on. The fanfare plays a big part along with I Wish as a motif from the moment it is first heard within the prologue. It represents the royal family and the princes, but plays a bigger part than representing them as it embodies them. The motif sneaks itself into several pieces, but mostly those that include Cinderella, as her story revolves around the prince and the ball until the very end, where the fanfare leaves her as she becomes truly happy. The most notable part of this motif is while it is heard within any moment in the woods, as the melody of the fanfare is sung by the baker's wife while she is being seduced, symbolizing that she has lost her own music and is relying on the prince's, until by the end of the piece when he leaves and she snaps out of it, coming back on top, finding her own voice. And finally, there is the bean motif, which is intertwined heavily within the story of the magic beans and all those involved. As like West Side's story, this motif is reminiscent of the danger motif. Instead of representing hate, it represents literal danger, as the audience associates the beans with the music once they see the baker hand Jack 5 of them and pocket 1. They will forever link the beans with those 5 notes, and it is heard multiple times throughout the show to show future problems and terrible effects that it has caused, such as the tragic story of Rapunzel and her tower, and Jack's entire plot, whether it be selling his cow or his adventure up in the land of the giants. Yet it all comes to a resolve at the end, when the bean theme is slightly changed, but plays beautifully with music, telling the audience that the consequences are resolved and won't bother anyone anymore. All 3 of these motifs make up one of the greatest musicals told, mostly by the music in history, as well as all the motifs really tell the story, along with the dialogue. All the motifs are heard in multiple different songs, and each has their own meaning, while also staying on theme to what it means, whether it be receiving beans for a cow, wishing to host a festival, or meeting a prince. They are all there subtly in the background, letting the audience know what is going on in this scene in the most creative way possible. Now, children and intruder, that is the end of the story, but it may be the start of yours. When you go and see Into the Woods, March 17th, 18th, and 19th. It is a whimsical, heart-wrenching story you will not want to miss. Oh, yes, and one last thing. They all lived happily ever after. The end.